Leslie calls me out with a mouth full of donut, gazing at me curiously as he chews. He definitely doesn't seem fazed, that's for sure. You look like a kid who just got caught peeping at a girl's skirt. Wing. Really, what's eating you? I don't like this silence. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. Nothing. It's nothing, boss. Listen, why don't we get started on work? We need to go over the new findings. Uh-huh. He seems pretty suspicious, but eventually nods. I can't tell if he's playing dumb or if he really can't remember. It's probably the latter. About Eastman, I think we need more information on everything, including him, before we go to the FBI. If we blow our cover too early, we'll risk losing out on more leads, more potential sources. We should play this smart. Agreed. There's still a lot we don't know. Leslie gazes up thoughtfully at the ceiling, twirling a pen between his sugar-dusted fingers. Is that speakeasy his base of operations? How many warehouses does he have? Are there any key players in this business? I'd say we need to send out some agents to figure out the key details. I don't want to rush into anything. Send out agents? That reminds me. What happened to Earl, the guy that I sent to scope out the speakeasy yesterday? I didn't see him come into work today, and he didn't call me like he was supposed to. Boss, I need to make a call. I sent Earl out last night, but he hasn't come in yet. Oh? Alright, don't let me stop you. I reach out to the phone and quickly dial Earl's home number. Ring, ring, ring. No answer. I have a bad feeling about this. I'd bet anything that his disappearance is related to that speakeasy. Eastman and the Mafia. Not good, huh? Leslie seems to figure it out pretty quickly, but he raises a worried eyebrow at me. I grimly nod. Damn it, I should have just gone there myself last night. If something happened to Earl, then we'll get some officers and head over there this evening. Boss, just a quiet investigation at first. See if we can find anything about Earl. If there's incriminating evidence, then we'll turn it into a full-blown raid. But hopefully there's just some cot house this morning hungover. Leslie gives me this small, reassuring smile. It makes me feel a little better, even though a nervous pit's still standing. I wonder if it shows my stream. It does. Yay! Although I should edit it that it says what it is instead of the Book of Unwritten Tales 2, because that's not working right now. So I'm going to... Oh, I can't. Oh, that's right, I can't edit it on my tablet. Well, blarg. I guess I'm gonna have to do it later. Tonight it is, then. Attaboy, ready to go? Over some more reports? Ready as I'll ever be. The rest of the day sinks into a blur. Paperwork and coffee. Leslie and I busy ourselves with our mountain up reports so that there's not much time for the awkward atmosphere to come back. Considering how he's acting, maybe nothing really ever happened at all. Maybe I just dozed off in the hotel room and had a bittersweet dream. Hello? Richter? Hello? Two hands roughly shake my shoulders. When my eyes struggle open for a few seconds later, I noticed how dark the sky is outside is. Wait, what? Huh? Was I? There's only one of us who can sleep for half a day, Richter, and don't steal my thunder. Uh, why'd you have to, why didn't you wake me up sooner? You were clearly exhausted. Those dark circles under your eyes make you look like a raccoon. It's cute. But listen, we have to try to get more sleep at night, okay? I can't rely on a hazy partner to have my back after all. Dot dot dot. And whose fault is that? I didn't get any sleep exactly, Mr. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed over here. After we get our things together, Leslie and I prepare to head out into the speakeasy. It's already late, and there's been no call from Earl. Whoops. Richter rate. Bleh. As I reach for the door, Leslie suddenly grabs my sleeve and tugging me back a little. About last night, I do remember it all, just so you know. This bastard. So, all of today was just an act. I know, I couldn't pass up the opportunity. Please don't hate me too much. But I wanted to tell you that. Well, I'm sorry. He bites his lip, averting his gaze guiltily. It's the same look he had last night, right after he kissed me. If you want, we can agree to pretend it never happened. Things can go back to normal. We'll just be regular friends, senior partner and junior partner. Neither of us will speak of it. Despite his self-fishing joke, I can tell he's being serious. Our friendship is important to both of us, so it's understandable, but how do I really feel about things? It's not a question of liking Leslie, but last night's situation was, well, it's just that you were drunk, boss, so I guess I kind of feel guilty kissing you like that, when you probably didn't know what you were doing. Oh, is that a problem? Trust me, I knew exactly what I was doing. I'm completely sober right now, so if you like, I could do it again. No, I believe you. Leslie snickers at my hasty response back to his normal smug self. I can tell he's relieved to be clear of the air between us. I am too. Hey, once we're sure Earl is safe, let's talk about this again in more private setting. Does that sound okay? It sounds great, boss. Did you just... Before I can finish, Leslie pulls me into an adoring hug, squeezing me so hard I can barely breathe. He buries his face against my shoulder, nuzzling against it. How he can make my heart ache so much. I'll never become a hard-boiled detective if I keep getting feelings like this. Sighing officially, I curl my arms around him and squeeze him back, enjoying a few moments of warmth we share. Okay. Leslie soon pulls back, taking a deep breath. Then we nod at each other just like always. If we hurry, we can get to the bottom of this and still have time to get a cannoli before the shop closes. Richter, you never told me you could read minds. I try to stay out of yours, too scared of what I might see. Clever boy. We head out side by side, determined but hopeful that the partners we've always been. I have faith in Leslie, just like he has faith in me. We'll get this job done together. Welcome, gentlemen. Please enjoy your night. Loud music rushes over me in a wave. A familiar sea of dancers, lights, and sparkling glasses. This place is quite a scene, isn't it? Leslie murmurs at my side as we walk along, glancing around the speak. It's a little less crowded today. They must have known you were coming. Oh, blow, blow. As we wave our way to the bar, my attention draws to a group of familiar figures. Those sketchy guards from the other night, but it looks like there's more of them today. I nudge Leslie's side and jerk my chin in their direction. He follows my subtle gesture, eyes narrowing faintly. We exchange no words, but I can tell that we're thinking the same thing. Those are Myers' men. At the bar, Leslie orders us a couple of drinks just to keep up appearances. We gotta find some way to ask about Earl, but we can't risk being too obvious about it. Jack! You finally decided to show up. With a certain voice calls out over the music, I freeze. If that's who I think it is, then... I was terribly disappointed last night, Jack. The expensive bottle of whiskey I got for you was my sole conversation partner. Sure enough, Myers saunters up with his usual sly grin, leaning one arm against the bar. Oh, I see you brought a friend. Myers turns his attention to Leslie, studying him for a few moments before offering a polite nod. Leslie does the same, sizing up the other man silently, but quickly breaks into a smile of his own. You must be Meyer. Jack was just singing your praises, and you know, I can really see why. Singing my praises, was he? My gaze meets Myers, and he suggestively winks. Great, Leslie. Thanks for encouraging him. And who might I have the pleasure of meeting tonight? Leslie's the name. How do you do? Wait, he's giving Meyer his real name? Is he planning something? They reach around and shake hands, still wearing a confident smirk. How do you do? Would I be correct in assuming that you're a public servant like Jack, Mr. Leslie? You would be very correct. We met through work, actually. I see. Very interesting. There's something uncomfortable about this atmosphere. What exactly is going on? And you, Meyer, what do you do for work? Curious you should mention that. I consider myself a public servant as well. Oh, my, what a coincidence. I had a feeling, really. The second I saw you, I thought myself, here's a charitable man, all right. I knew it. You may not believe this, but I had the same reaction. The noble air you have, why it speaks volumes around you. You strike me as a dutiful sort of fellow, and I respect that. No, something is definitely very wrong. There is no way either of them is being serious. In fact, it almost sounds like, actually, Mayor, I have a question for you. Pausing for a moment, Leslie glances up at the clock. It's only a quick look, but it seems deliberate. Of course, please go on. You didn't happen to see a man around here the other night? Dark, shaggy hair, pointy nose, brown eyes. Walks with a slight limp. Mayor brushes through his hair, eyes slightly drifting to one side. It's very possible. That description sounds quite familiar. But you know, Mr. Leslie, information often comes with a price. At that instant, it's the cops. The door flies open and a small group of officers wets in. Screams echoes through the parlor after the music cuts off as the cacophony goes silent. As the officers pull out their guns, the mafia types grab their own pieces, pointing them at the officers. Leslie, what? Richter, please. Leslie sharply raises a hand at me, and I fall silent, stunned. This wasn't the plan we discussed. I thought we were supposed to wait for more information. Unless Leslie did this because he thought I'd be too soft on Mayor. I suggest you cooperate with us, Eastman, and give us the agent's location. Mayor doesn't seem nearly as shocked as he should be. How can he be so calm? He had no idea this was going to happen, did he? All right, I'll cooperate with you, but please tell your men to lower their weapons. I'll do the same for mine, and then we can discuss things calmly without the threat of accidental bloodshed. Agreed? Leslie hesitates. There's a very strange degree of trust going on here, but I get the sense that neither of them wants it to end in violence. I know Leslie hates hurting anyone, and even criminals, and Meyer doesn't seem the type to enjoy it either. Understood. Both of them exchange looks and simultaneously nod at their men, who slowly, reluctantly lower their guns. The tension in the room eases a little bit, though it's still far from calm. Let me preface by saying your man is safe. He's being held in a back room, properly fed and watered. In fact, he's already gotten to know most of the men. A very likable fellow. That does sound like Earl. The guy can get along with just about anybody. Why did you capture him then? To use him as bait, naturally. Bait? Meyer nods, giving me a slightly apologetic smile, although he looks too pleased with himself about it all. You see, after our friend Jack here showed up the other night, I was struck with an idea. I knew he was a detective before he so much as walked in the door. Your informant's working for me, so I decided to have a chat with him. You mean back there that was... Don't get me wrong, Richter, I was enjoying every second of it, but I've been looking for a way to work out an arrangement with the law in Cleveland for some time. You're a hard-headed sort here, let me tell you. He exhales a breath between his teeth, gently shaking his head. Richter, however, I could not tell he was made of something different, not so hell-bent on enforcing the Volstead Act. Yet not the type to be bought, either. I was intrigued, so I thought I'd try to work out a deal until he cruelly decided to leave me hanging, that is. Given my name, what you call a black backup plan. I knew he'd put it together soon enough and come back when he did. Capturing your agent now, that was a little more spontaneous. A little foolish, too. More than likely, but it's how I operate. His lips curl in a devil-may-care smile, and he shrugs nonchalantly. You really had this all planned out from the beginning. Wasn't it a huge risk? Of course, but a calculated one. Meyer usually casually waves one hand as if brushing away my disbelief. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I like to make big gambles, and most of the time they pay off. But I've done my research on your backgrounds, your past jobs. I knew you wouldn't simply raid my venue without showing a little of your hand first. So you could say the chips landed where I thought they might. It all suddenly became too clear how this man became a mafia leader. He got all the right mixture of planning, risk-taking, and charm, all wrapped up into one dangerous package. Phew. I feel like a man who just got cheated out of his fortune of cards. Leslie rubs his cheek with one hand, blinking rapidly as if trying to understand everything we just heard. I can't blame him. I knew Meyer was sharp. I had no idea he planned everything out ahead of time. I'll admit, despite the fact that your methods are incredibly questionable, you made me curious. You mentioned a deal, didn't you? What kind of deal are we talking about here? Leslie. To my surprise, Leslie cautiously questioned Meyer, one eyebrow slightly raised. I was expecting him to be furious, but instead he sounds more impressed than anything. I was hoping you'd ask that. Why don't we discuss matters privately, on neutral ground? I'll even let you pick the spot. All of us disarmed with a few of our men waiting outside. A moment, if you don't mind. You really trust him enough for this? Normally I'd say it's suicide, but this mayor, he's not like any other man I've ever met. It's like talking to the chief of a big corporation, not a mafia leader. It's not like I can blame him. I felt the same way when I first met Mayer the other night. I don't think he means us any harm, boss. He's still a gangster, obviously, but I think he really wants to work out a deal. All of this would be way too much trouble otherwise. And honestly, I'd like to hear what he has to say. My thoughts exactly. You think we should hear him out then? After a brief hesitation, I nod. We're playing with fire here, and we both know it, but that's nothing new for us. If you don't mind me saying, Mr. Leslie, I gather you're the type to take precautions. Should the two of you not show up in perfect health tomorrow, I'm certain I'll have a big hassle on my hands. And that's not what I want, I assure you. You really did do your research, didn't you? It's my favorite hobby of mine. So that means you know what size underwear Richter wears. Boss, I'm afraid you'll have to barter for that information. Oh, you drive a hard bargain, do you? I like that. I feel like my only ally just switched his colors. Great. Just great. After a little more discussion, the three of us settle on a hotel room for our meeting spot. The unfortunate patrons who had to witness all that, well, they're sent home and promised free drinks when they come back. In this day and age, that's probably enough to risk being shot. Once that mess is sorted out, the three of us head to the hotel room with our respective men. I can't even begin how to imagine how tonight will end, but I have hope for the best. I hope this isn't the part where we get shot by a sniper through the window. The restaurant across the street wouldn't let my men inside, unfortunately. What a relief. Three of us stroll into the hotel room, still followed by the tense air from earlier. Meyer and Leslie have been constantly bantering on the way here, but I can't tell if it's genuine snidiness or the playful kind. Well, no point in wasting time, eh? Let's hear your proposal, Eastman. We're listening. Of course, I'm sure you're both exceptionally busy men. We shift into a fairly close circle, close enough that we don't risk our voices carrying too far. Leslie stands nearer to my side than Meyer, almost protective in his stance. I don't know what he thinks he can do if worse came to worse. I guess I could pick him up and use him as a battering ram. I assume you're already aware of my influence in the city and the control I have over a large amount of business. But I'm not without competition. There are a number of smaller, persistent groups that while less organized, are still significant. And as a result of my extensive network, I'm familiar with the movements of these various outfits through their leaders across Cleveland. In English, that means you want to know, you know what the other gangs are up to, right? Precisely, Richter. He winks at me almost imperceptibly, like I've finally been let in on some inside joke. I propose that I offer a steady stream of that information to you, more than enough to fill their reports for the FBI, surely at least for the time being. You'll discover a new warehouse to raid every other week, one that coincidentally belongs to a different organization than my own. Funny thing how coincidences like that happen, Leslie quips dryly, glancing at Meyer and me. He gets his stance locked with mine for several seconds, one eyebrow raised in "what do you make of this so far" kind of way. So what would you be wanting in exchange? A level of discretion on your part that will allow me to carry on with my business. Meyer murmurs his terms and rather unnaturally, blowing on his nails and polishing them nonchalantly on his collar. I'll see to it that my men keep their noses clean. After all, I'm interested in providing alcohol to customers, not filling the streets with bodies of my enemies. Very poetic. There's certainly more than where that came from. He doesn't even make eye contact, innocently gazing in another direction, but his tone is teasing enough to get the message across. Leslie narrows his eyes a little at Meyer. Is he trying to read him, or has he already made up his mind? Believe me, I have no doubt that a part of his conflict with your senses of justice as detectives. After speaking with Richter, I wouldn't expect anything less. But you're both logical, practical men trying to view the situation through a more objective lens. There's a short pause, but an important one. My mind flashes back to my conversation with Leslie, our doubts and guilts over what we were doing. If you took me to jail right now and by some miracle managed to convict me, someone else will only step up and take my place. This war on liquor will never really end. It should never have existed to begin with. All of it succeeded in doing what was created a sort of industry, a more dangerous one. With all that in mind, his dark eyes flick from me to Leslie and back to me. Why not compromise? Make your employers happy in exchange for making the American people happy. Once he finishes speaking, a longer silence falls over the room. I've always wanted to control crime, uphold the law, and fall asleep with a clean conscience every night. But when it comes to prohibition, that same question keeps resurfacing in my mind. Is enforcing this law really the right thing to do? Should we follow federal orders like mindless slaves, or should we make our own judgments in cases like this? I steal a glance up at Meyer. He returns my glance with a gentle, calm smile, eyes glimmering curiously. Richter? Leslie turns to face me, his features carefully composed in an unnatural, neutral mask. Any thoughts? Deciding to let my apparently crippling honesty speak for me, I take a deep breath. I don't think prohibition is meant to last. I take pride in my job, but I get nothing out of enforcing Volstead's middle finger to America. Snatching away hooch just to suit the Fed's fancy, that just doesn't sit right with me. And as for Meyer, I think he's right, boss. With or without him, the liquor business here will still keep going, and I'd rather have someone like Meyer run it than some crew out for blood as much as profit. Leslie chews on his lip, is wavering on the brink of deciding something, but I can't tell which way he's leaning. Whatever decision you make, boss, I'll stand behind it. You can count on that. I know, Richter. That's why you're my partner. After a lengthy pause, Leslie finally breaks into a faint smile, turning his gaze from me to Mayor. Listen, I can't promise the deal will hold forever, Mayor. There's always a risk that someone will find out, or will get moved onto a different case. I'm well aware, so few good things last forever. But that's more of a reason to enjoy them while they last, isn't it? Heh, I'll drink to that, alright. He suddenly takes a deep, sharp breath, eyes flashing. Damn, sure feels good to spit on Volstead's eye, that son of a bitch. And grabs Meyer's hand, firmly shaking it with pure determination. In fact, he seems so convinced that I wonder how hard the decision really was for him. He wasn't just pausing for dramatic effect back then, was he? You know, my sister got married last week and the reception was completely dry. Not a drop of booze in sight. Have you ever had to sit through 15 wedding speeches completely sober? I've never prayed so hard for the rapture in my life. And his hand is pumped up and down enthusiastically by Leslie. Mayor breaks into a delighted laughter, maybe for the first time I've ever heard him be so loud. Whether it's from amusement or relief, though, I can't really tell. Well, this is cause for celebration, gentlemen, wouldn't you agree? Mayor steps over the door, lightly knocking 4 times. A few seconds later, it opens slightly by someone discreetly handing a bottle and several wine glasses. Is that? You had them bring it here? Wasn't that a bit presumptuous? I only make bets I'm confident in. I have a feeling we're going to get along just fine. They exchange playful glances. Then the eyes slide over to me. Why do I feel suddenly like a rabbit spotted by a pair of lions? Hey, what are you... Before I knew it, the other 2 had taken my arms, pulling me over the foot of the bed. Like they're operating on some new unspoken pact. They sandwich me between them before I can even finish my protest. Shall we toast to our success of our new partnership? Don't mind if I do. You're a true gentleman after all, Mayor. And of course, we shouldn't forget the wonderful little detective who brought us together, should we? It's really nothing. I humbly nominate him as our ambassador, the key component to make sure our arrangement runs smoothly. That's actually not a bad idea. He can't tell a lie to save his life, so it's better for him than undercover work, that's for sure. What the heck? I didn't agree to this, did I? Hello? Agree? Richard, please. You're merely continuing the role you already have. You heard the man, Richard. Ambassador sounds a great title, too. I'm jealous. Very funny, you fellas. You're a real riot. As I grumbled myself watching the deep ruby liquid fall into Leslie's glass, my mind begins to picture on how many other deals like this will take place while Prohibition goes on. It already changed our country forever, changed us as Americans forever, though I doubt we'll understand the full scale of it for many, many years. When I think about all the detectives and officers who will one day reach the same conclusion as us, I have to wonder, just how much longer will this dry America last? I think it's perfectly fair to keep him 4 days a week with me. 4 days? You greedy bastard. You're trying to monopolize him, eh? I tuned back into a good-natured argument, one that seems to be about, what if we shared him for 1 day? Surely a reasonable man like yourself would agree to that, Leslie. Sharing him for a day, eh? You know, I think that can be arranged. What the hell kind of conversation are you? Never mind. It only lasted 13 years. You know, it's funny. I remember somebody talking about how the prohibition started. It was a bunch of like Catholic women or something, and they gotten like lots and lots of signatures. And they eventually, after a bit, they were like, oh wait, we made a mistake. That the government was not budging. And so I guess it took 13 years. So I guess Dry America couldn't do it. Oh yeah, just so you know, this happened as well. I had played the game earlier, but I couldn't get Leslie's to go for some reason. So, sorry about that. And it's only been 30 minutes. Awesome! I have a viewer. Hi, viewer! Or is that just me? I think that's just me. I bet if I just go like this, and the viewer will be gone. Nope. Nope, still there. Okay, cool. I figured it out. There it is. Alright, I think I'm gonna end it here. So if you liked it, hit that like button. Please comment and subscribe. See you all on the flip side. Bye!